Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, destination unrevealed. My name's Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And this is the Agree to Disagree show on the TNAM network, because the news always matters. The new American media was founded because the old American media has failed. We ask you to question everything. We say that we want you to join our mostly civil conversation. And in that mostly civil conversation today, we're going to kind of look through the news and we're going to ask you these questions. And we want to know, do you agree or disagree that we should keep health emergency powers to vax as many kids as possible? Journalist Gonzalo Lira, does he deserve to be detained by Ukraine? Agree or disagree? Hispanics and blacks can also be white supremacists. Agree or disagree? Protesters on the NY subway, they're being disingenuous. Agree or disagree? There is no crisis on the southern border. These are not the droids you're looking for. Joe Biden is the greatest job creator in history and, might I add, the most popular president of all history, getting 81 million completely legitimate votes. Agree or disagree? There is no crisis on the southern border, of course. Do you agree or disagree that the White House should refuse press credentials for the New York Post? These topics and more, the things that we come up with off the top of our heads, we will be presented to you shortly after this awesome intro created by Blake Walley.
Okay.
And I've been reminded of a question that I had earlier, and I was kind of wondering, what are you saying to John Fugelsang in that clip? Are you serenading him?
No, I was trying to say his name because I wasn't 100% sure how to pronounce it. So I'm actually saying Fugelsang or whatever it was. If you're reading the lips.
It's more song or sang. It's song.
I was saying, how do you pronounce your name? I was saying John Fugelsang or whatever. I don't remember how I said it. But anyway, I thought I did it okay. Awesome. I don't actually know. Fugelsang, Fugelsang, Fugel, whatever. I don't know exactly how it is. He's an interesting character, but politically he's a little bit off. But still an intriguing persona on that side. One of the bigger progressive names out there, I guess.
Yeah, it's always important to talk. And
interesting. Yeah, Politicon, you find different people, even if they have a different point of view. It's a good place to go and have those discussions with people that aren't always politically aligned. Try to find some different points of view and have some debates, civil debates. It's usually good. I don't know if they still have them anymore, if they're going to have another one here in 2023 or not. I haven't kept up to date on that. So I think they did them in LA, and I thought they did one in Nashville a few years ago. Did we go? Well, we didn't go to that one, but we have gone to the one in LA.
Correct. Yeah, It says, why did Politicon dissolve? Politicon
Probably because of
founder.
the COVID. They weren't getting enough people there.
It says we will do it again in 2024.
Yeah, they better do it. That'd be the perfect year for it, but they should set it up this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll click on their main website here and take a look. I was looking at that before you even
Well,
mentioned
hopefully
it.
it's in yeah, but if it's in LA, maybe we'll have to make a trip out there. Who knows? Back to our old stomping grounds.
Yeah. It says Politicon presents Sisters in Law in Portland on May 12th, New York on May 19th, Howard Theater, DC on May 21st. It's not Politicon, though. What's. Oh, my God. They have the Mary Trump show? Oh, my Lord. I don't see.
It might be over.
Josh.
And progressives are probably getting their ass kicked, and they don't want to do the debates anymore. Even John Fugelsang, who is a very sharp guy, but it's hard to defend the modern progressive and their progressivism, if you will, and their viewpoints on things.
I couldn't even imagine trying to be Corinne Jean-Pierre, trying to just put a rosy spin on this. Like, I don't know how anybody does it, how anybody can do it. I don't
throw a lot of money at you or something. There's a lot of those influencers. They're finding ways. It's disingenuous, which is one of our topics today.
It is, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's get to the 3 boilerplate topics that I want to bring up every time. What is the latest on the Restrict Act? Blake, I don't have any new information on the Restrict Act, but it is pernicious. It is incredibly dangerous. We must keep an eye on it at all times, like a pit bull around your child. Have you heard anything new on the Restrict Act? I haven't.
I have not either. I think it's gone toxic. So back to the drawing board for that awful piece of legislation, and we'll see what comes out of it.
But I think it's still important that, even something I need to do, I need to contact my representatives. Not that I feel like they're going to turn against me, but like I think I need to participate in this, and we need to like find a way to.
Hey, it's what it could have passed by now if it was really that big of a deal.
Yeah, but it's one of those that could pass tomorrow. You wake up and it's like, they did what? They did what in a midnight session on Jekyll Island? They did what? They passed what? So anyway, let's keep our eyes on the Restrict Act. As far as the updates on the Trump indictment, I mean, what are the updates there? I mean, that's the Alvin Bragg one that we were talking about, but now there's this E. Jean King, some crazy lady. There's like 2 depositions with Trump, and he's like, yeah, you're not my type. That would have never happened. And it's like, well, I mean,
whether that's true or not, I don't know. Some weirdo comes out of the woodwork from 30 years ago and starts, making accusations. They gave Trump a gag order. That's the new news on that one. So out of all the things that they're trying to indict him for, wacky lady from the early 90s, I guess, who's got some allegations. And I'm really not buying it, but you know what? Who knows? Let it all play out. See what happens.
Yep, not buying it either. When you said wacky lady from the early 90s, I was trying to figure out, who are we talking about? Are we talking about, what was her name? Laura on Family Matters? Was that her? She wasn't wacky. She was fine. But like, is there like, that's our question of the day, our totally random, for no apparent reason, question of the day. Who is the wackiest woman from the early 90s? Lorena Bobbitt? Is that mid-90s? Did you say early 90s, mid-90s?
Early 90s. Yeah, I wasn't prepared to go down that rabbit hole, Brian. I have no idea. So
fine. And then the third boilerplate topic. What is the latest with the Biden impeachment update? I mean, has there ever been a more obviously impeachable character than this third Obama term, this administration? I mean, I guess we keep hearing rumors that Hunter's going to get indicted, and Hunter's indictment isn't really about Hunter so much as it is the entire Biden crime family. There are updates there, right?
Not that I'm aware of, but I mean, there's, things that, yeah, exactly like you said, there's a lot of things they could go after him for, and who knows? There's always something with Hunter of course. And there could be whistleblowers coming out speaking against the administration and for their business dealings. So, but nothing, major that I've seen this week. So, but it could come at any time.
Yeah, I keep hearing that there's a Hunter Biden indictment that's about to happen, and then he's going to get pardoned. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I mean, Biden's completely impeachable. What are we waiting for? Get it going.
Yep.
MG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, let's go. Just whatever, just go. Do it. They did it to Trump. Do it to this guy who actually deserves it, not on two trumped up fake,
right.
fake charges. So, all right, cool. Let's jump into the meat.
Greetings, Name Carlson. Hello. Welcome, everybody.
Name Carlson. Name. What up, Name? Howdy. Yeah, make sure you guys are leaving comments, girls too, or anything that you're. Refrigerators, toasters, leave your comments in the section here so you can participate in today's show. And we're going to jump into the number one topic. All right. The show is called Agree to Disagree, the Agree to Disagree show. So, Blake, would you agree or disagree that there is no crisis on the southern border? No crisis on the southern border.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree there, I believe. So, it's one of the talking points from this administration for a while has been there's no crisis going on. And then you've got Homeland Secretary, I forget his name already, Mayorkas, who's acting like there's nothing going on, nothing to see here, no problem. And people have been freaking out. There's millions of people coming over the border and nothing's happening. The Border Patrol is undermanned. They're overwhelmed. And now we're really seeing it. Now they can't deny it anymore. Now even the mainstream press is watching as just these miles of people are lining up ready for the end of Title 42, which I believe happens tomorrow. Brian, what else is significant about tomorrow?
Well, anyway, where are you? Are you at the border?
I'm at the border right now. I'm getting ready to welcome our new friends into the country. I don't know if they're taking names or doing background checks, but just come on in.
Come on in,
they're
future Democrats. Come on in, future Democrats. We'll find a way to. I know you don't belong here. I know you didn't go through the proper channels. I know that. You're not eligible to vote, but we want to find a way to get you to vote against Republicans. So we will open up the floodgates and make it happen. Yes, tomorrow is my birthday, Blake. Thank you for mentioning that.
Sure is. Is that a coincidence? I guess so. But
it's my birthday present. It's my favorite birthday present of all time. Extra millions of people that
border invasion. Right. It's what you always wanted. And here it is.
So do we have a story on this, to just kind of update? So Title 42 was what? That was a COVID era policy to just kind of shut things down,
right?
Tighten things up.
Yeah, as an emergency because stop COVID, and we don't know who's coming in, so they kind of got to secure the borders just to prevent a pandemic from spreading, getting worse, what have you. But it's going to end. And there is a lot of people that can't wait to see this take place. So let's see here. I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, go ahead and pull that up. But while you do that, as I think about it, it kind of makes me angry at Texas. Texas has the capability to build a border their damn selves, right? It's their state. It's their property. Reallocate 2% of all of your budget to make it why hasn't Texas done this? Why are we waiting for anybody in D.C. to do anything? Texas should have been on their shit. It's really. I remember after 9/11, and they're talking about border security, and I'm like, what do you mean? Why isn't the border secure? I can't go to any nightclub without going through the roped line, and there's a guy at the door, and you show him your ID. Yes, I'm of legal age. You pay your cover charge and you walk in. You mean our nation is just a place you can flop into and try to work your way onto social free money and to get it's expensive. It's really expensive. And then they're like, no. See, America, it's built off of slave labor and cheap labor. So we need all this cheap labor coming up. So it's like modern day slaves, but not like old time slaves, like kind of slaves, but not really slaves. You're like, the hell who is in charge of this? Nobody's in charge. Okay, cool. Nobody's in charge. Awesome. I love being in a place where nobody's in charge. Is something I've never thought or said. Anyway, please.
No, it's frustrating. And watching, Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, sit there and, play stupid in these when he's being questioned by a Ted Cruz or a Rand Paul about what he's actually doing. So he's incompetent or extremely corrupt or both.
He's succeeding at the Obama plan. This has been the Obama plan all along. Bring the United States down. We're too uppity. We're a little too full of ourselves. The only reason we're successful is because we've got our success off the backs of others. We need to let everybody in. We need to destroy the culture that America has. We need to balance things out. We need to lower our level of living a little bit. So bring way more poor people in here, people that don't speak the language, don't particularly have any discernible skill set right off the bat that can come in and really elevate the workforce. It's just going to be, the basic type labor stuff that can work in factories, that can work, the hours you don't want to work, the overnight, to be in the fields, to be cooking the food, to do all of the basic jobs at pseudo slave labor prices, because it's big business that's behind this. Big business wants open borders. Democrats want open borders because they're future Democrats. All they're going to do is just everything is, if you have less melanin in your skin, that's the white devil. You're coming in from any other country, then you are superior. You are owed things, healthcare, all sorts of, we need to pay to teach your kids how to English as a second language. Come on in and vote Democrat. I don't really like Republicans do it for cheap slave labor. Democrats do it for future Democrats. Hooray for the two-party system, Blake. So anyway,
right. Well, I mean, in theory, it'd be great if we had a labor shortage and our economy was just on fire and we just didn't have enough workers, and then we could just find all the best people in, Mexico, South America, Central America that want to, or anywhere around the world that want to come here and be good citizens, and they're good workers, nice people, passive background, and we could all invite them in, and they could have a better life here in America. But unfortunately, it's not the way it's actually working.
And there's no, if you go fishing for tuna, you're supposed to check the nets for release them back, right? Like there's supposed to be mechanisms, so you don't just sweep everything up and you don't just dredge all of the things at once. You're supposed to kind of sort things out. You bring in the stuff that you want, and you expel the stuff that you don't want. I mean, it's why we have a liver. It's why we have an intestinal tract. We extract the nutrients, the energy, the calories from the food, and we expel the waste. There's waste coming across the border. There are people that are wastes of space. Some of them. Oh, but there are Americans that are wastes of space. Well, they can go too. I don't care. Expel them too. I don't need any child molesters or violent criminals in this country. Kick them all out. Kick them all to Guatemala. What the hell do I care? People that should not pass a basic background check have no business being here. And if there's one, there was just a couple of days ago. It was a guy that was kicked out 4 times. Maybe that's the theme of today's show. We're going to get to the New York City situation. What do you have, 44 arrests? We'll get to that. I don't want to go off on that tangent. Well, maybe we'll make that our second story. But where's the mechanism to stop the criminals from coming in? There isn't. And on top of the criminals, you also have the people that have been sucked into the mafia tactics. Now you owe us a favor. The cartels have made this, it's obvious. It's the biggest money endeavor they've ever ventured into. and you're going to put every woman that you bring in here, every kid that comes in and disappears, either into slavery and forced labor or to sexual slavery to all these deviants. Once again, you got the Democrat Party heavily involved here. We'll get to that later. But these people have strings attached. They owe the cartel. And when we need you to do a favor, you're going to do a favor, because that things happen to people that don't abide by. When you jump, when I say jump, you ask how high. Yes, sir, may I do another for you? These people are potential sleeper cells. At a time where we're headed, seemingly launching ourselves face first into World War III, an undeclared World War III that I don't recall anybody voting for. These are, you can't even really call them sleeper cells. These are military-aged men invading America right now. And it's been happening since Biden seized control somehow in 2020. So at a time where Russia, China, not too happy with us, getting off our reserve currency. I mean, the number of Chinese nationals flooding through here is going through the roof. I mean, do you want the lights to go out and all of a sudden there's a foreign army that's invaded through the southern border and they've been put in place across the country to take this place out, remove the Second Amendment, strip us of our liberties and freedoms, and really turn this into a dystopian, totalitarian nightmare, and lower all of our quality of living. So we're eating crickets, we're living in pods, and the top 0.01% takes up all of that wealth. And haha, gotcha. I mean, there are too many on the timeline to just allow random people walking across the border. I thought in a post 9/11 world where terrorism is supposed to be important, we're supposed to be checking IDs of people going through the border. So, like, Blake, help me make it make sense.
The only way it makes sense is if there's like, Cloward Piven strategy. If it's like they went after Tucker for that replacement theory, or it just seems like.
Why did they go after Tucker for replacement theory? Because politicians have said quite vocally exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to replace the demographics of America. This is their words. And then it's what? It's bad if you mention their words. It's what they are doing. They're doing it. It's an obvious plan that they are doing. But what? They went after Tucker and said Tucker's racist because Tucker mentioned it? So mentioning the thing that's obvious makes the it bad? I got nothing. I got nothing for that type of nonsense. The one thing. Any thoughts on that? Like,
well, they're not focusing on the real story. They're just trying to frame it as though it's always, something about race, when it's not. It's just some of these people happen to be white, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna change the demographics, like you said, of everything and the culture of this country if we just let everybody in without checking out who they are and then just trying to get them on voter rolls to change policy in this country. People that don't that haven't been here, that don't know how things work. So it's easy to get them incentivized to come here and stay here. And all they have to do really is just go along and vote for the right people that are going to allow that to happen.
And these are people without skin in the game. Like, if you care about the place that you're at, it's the renter versus the owner kind of philosophy. It's like, if you care about the place where you're at, you're gonna cut your grass. You're gonna clean things up. You're not gonna let things. You're just not gonna. But if you're here and you're not really a part of being here, and you don't understand the difference, then you're easily manipulatable. Now, the one thing that I've heard some people say about this is that, and Elon Musk has famously been, you look at the bell curves of most people do this, and then there's some outliers on the extremes. Elon Musk has been an outlier talking about population. I mean, I'm sure you heard this in college or in high school or in elementary school, Blake. Carbon. It's humans that are expelling air. They're toxic. They're ruining Earth. We need to eliminate as many humans as possible. Because it's like, well, hold on. Dioxide, what the plants consume? It's what plants crave. It's what plants crave. And then they produce oxygen that we breathe in. It's almost like it's a beautiful organism. And we need to reduce population. Elon Musk is like, we need population. Too many abortions, not enough people starting families. We need kids. I mean, you don't have a kid. I don't have a kid. Look, I mean, there's a lot of people we know that don't have kids. How are we getting our population? You look at like Japan or something, several countries, there's a lot of countries out there. It's an aging population with nobody in the workforce to come up behind them. So people like Scott Adams had posited, and I don't want to misrepresent his view on it because I'm sure this is a nuanced take, if you will, but along the lines of, well, I believe he said he was in favor of immigration in general, and that these people coming in, this is a bonus. It's refilling our American demographic that has cratered. It's really cratered with infertility, socioeconomic reasons, the ease and the social acceptance of just abortions on demand, the pill, making sure that you don't get pregnant. All of these things have led to a population decrease. So this is something that could be helping America refill that demographic that's been emptied over the years. I mean, you've heard that, I'm sure, Blake. Do you have any thoughts on that particular component?
Not necessarily, but I mean, something is very strange happening, and we should be able to talk about that openly, about who we're allowing into our society. Do they are they pro-American people? That's the thing. A lot of these people, we have no idea. They might want to fundamentally change everything. And that's what globalism is. It's just blurring the borders, and it's just a compliant public with no culture.
I like having culture. I want America to be America. I don't want a globalist situation. That's it. It's too eggs in one baskety for me. I don't want centralized powers at the top of somebody's strings. You have one puppeteer and everything's the same. There need to be places to escape to. There need to be places to go to. And that's the thing you hear. Oh, well, where's the compassion for these people escaping? Stop it. You have the abortion conversation, and it's never pleasant. Half the people are like, no, that should never happen. The other half are like, yes, my body, my choice. But what happens? As soon as abortion is brought up, what's the first thing people say, Blake? It's not, I'll answer the question. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As soon as abortion is brought up and they're met with any resistance, like, abortion's totally cool and it's not a human, it's just a clump of cells and just kill all the things. And then someone on the other side goes, no, that's like killing, that's like murder. I'm against it. You go, so they'll snort, they'll snortle a couple times and go, well, what about in cases of rape and incest? That's all the first thing they do every effing time. Well, what about rape and incest? Okay. Aren't there exceptions for like rape or incest? It's about incest. Okay, that's like 0.02% of the abortions being performed. You're not doing that and saying that and rebalancing that because that's the most important, most likely situation to occur should something like abortion be legalized or allowed in society. It's the one thing to just kind of kick your foot into the door as it's slamming closed. And if your foot can just stay there, you can work the door back open over time. People fleeing. Oh, they're fleeing. Everybody's fleeing. Well, I mean, why don't you stay and fix it? Everybody has to fix the things around them. if you're too weak to stay in the things in your country that are trash, well, why do we want weak people here that aren't going to even fix the things that their family, their friends, their neighborhoods, their community, their tradition, their culture, everything that belongs to them, they're just willing to throw away and run away from, tail between their legs, instead of staying in. Eventually, you got to fix the thing that you're in. There's nowhere to turn to when you're dumped into America. Now what? Now where are you going to run? We need people that are going to actually solve problems. And if we're just using that, well, what about the people that are just fleeing persecution? It's like it's the same with abortion. Like if they say, well, rape and incest. Well, you know what's going to happen? Every person who just wants a quick, easy, cheap abortion, they're just going to say, I was raped. So then that's the excuse that will be used for everybody to just kind of keep the door open. People are being handed papers. This is what you say. You say, I am fleeing a totality in my country. There's lists. There's cheat sheets. Say these things. They're gaming the system, Blake. And I don't, for the life of me, understand it. Mayorkas, can he be impeached?
Yeah, they've talked about it. Yeah, I think Ted Cruz actually called him out, said he needs to be impeached. So, right to his face. And it's great.
So who's doing it? Did he start it?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe they will now if people start seeing this, what's going on the border. We see Title 42 and they see just people, it's a massive invasion that's happening right now. So no pause. Now it's going to be my turn here. Let's go back to these stories here so I can bring these up. Let's see. How about, this is out of Summit News. Shocking videos show the scale of border crisis ahead of the end of Title 42. This is only the calm before the storm. And just a matter of hours, we're going to see this stop. So this is a remarkable video. It's the Fox drone team from Bill Milligan, who's been doing some terrific work there on the border. A large majority, as you said, are single adults, mostly males. So we don't know.
Military aged.
Right. So there's nobody out there, checking IDs or doing a background check or anything like that. You've just got miles of people. Well, at least it's not chaotic. They're sitting there single file. Someone needs to bring up a food truck. Oh, they got garbage cans there. So I don't know how they hand out bag lunches or what have you. That doesn't look fun. But if you've been waiting your whole life to get into a free country, but do they have our ideals? How are they going to be, put to work in this country? Are they just going to be dispersed anywhere? I don't know, but seems like
where's the citizenship test? Where's the competency test to prove that when you get here you're going to be like? Can you even speak the language? Are you going to be like? If I got dumped in Romania or Czechoslovakia or Brazil, I mean, how are you going to be an asset to the place you're going? There's no mechanisms here to filter this stuff out. Before we get too far off the track, I found this interesting, by the way. Two comments from one of our listeners, and we'll get right back to your article here. Dr. Jekyll did just want to chime in. No, we can go right back to your article too. I said, Dr. Jekyll said, as someone who grew a little in their youth and talked to them, I can say from experience that plants thrive off the carbon dioxide we exhale. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. That very important, validation that we're on the right track. But this was the part that was very interesting, especially. You said, if not for a pro-life rape victim, my mother, nor me, nor any of my children would be here. It's called adoption. Huh. Very interesting point. Okay. So
it is interesting, but there's also been it's great. There's some awesome examples of that and people that have thrived. And then there's examples when they came out with the book Freakonomics and showing all of the orphan kids in Romania that grew up to be criminals because there were just too many unwanted kids. So it's a very complicated question, and I'm obviously not in favor of abortion in general. I realize we have a really messed up culture, and it doesn't always work out the way we want it to.
And thanks for sharing that story, Jekyll. He says true story here.
Yeah.
And I assume it's a he. I don't know. Doctor could be
Dr. Jekyll? No, that's I believe that's female from Buffalo. I do believe. I have to about 99% there. But one of our great listeners from a variety of different shows actually changed their name, was Bill's Mafia Hitman, I do believe.
I remember that early when we were doing the show in March, April. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting history here. By the way, Blake, where do people find you online if they want to learn more?
TheNextLevelNews.com would be the best. Got a lot of archive stuff there. Or TV's Blake Walley on Twitter.
Excellent. Couple of quick
Blake
points.
Hitman.
Yes, Blake Hitman. On Twitter, we're at American_media_. On Truth Social, we're the New American Media. We need followers on Truth Social. I'm trying to use it. Follow us on Truth Social. Blake, are you even on Truth Social? You're not following the New American Media. Are you on there?
I was on Truth Social, and then I had so many issues getting into my account, getting locked out. I got so frustrated. I canceled it, and I was kind of vocal. I was really upset because there's so many. I was supposed to be like a beta tester, and I thought I was going to be in and be able to get ahead, and it was just not. And I kept having problems. There was just no customer service of any kind. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still locked out. So just like, well, why am I bothering using this? And no one helps, no one cares, and I don't like the way their service works anyway. I just find Twitter so much easier and user friendly, and I like having a variety of different opinions. I don't want to be in my own echo chamber, which is around Trump people, which is great in real life, but online I'd rather have a variety of opinions, and I just didn't like how Truth Social works. So now that Elon's bought Twitter, I am on Twitter, and I'm gonna stay there. I don't see any other competitors. I think Twitter is just gonna get better from here, I hope. So,
by the way, Dr. Jekyll is saying he's a 46-year-old male from North Carolina.
Well, I am way off then. I must have somebody else in mind. I do apologize, but I do appreciate your support, Dr. Jekyll.
Yes, absolutely. We're learning. We're learning together. We appreciate that. And thank you for sharing.
Identity. All right.
I want to say we need you to follow us on Rumble. Press pause. Blake, are you following us on Rumble? Are you on Rumble?
Yeah, I subscribe. Yeah, are you following me on Rumble? That is the question.
I hope so.
I am following you on Rumble.
If I'm not, send me a message and I'll stop what I'm doing and do that.
I'm sure you will.
I think so. I don't know. But yeah, we have a new Rumble account, so we need people to follow us there, The New American Media. Of course, our flagship has been YouTube, but, they've censored and demonetized and shadow banned. But, we got 12 years of content. The New American Media. So it's youtube.com/The New American Media. Facebook erased our company page, but we still have the Agree to Disagree show. So it's called TNAMS, TNAM''S, and it's in quotation. So quotation, TNAM''S, the Agree to Disagree show. It's one of those, like, even when you search it word for word, they won't show you our page. Our group, our private group. It's pretty ridiculous, but find it. It's worth being in that group. And then finally here, Telegram. Find us on Telegram. We do stuff on Telegram. It's kind of like our Facebook backup is Telegram in the New American Media. And then not Patreon. Patreon deleted our page. Still, I've escalated this to 3 people, and nobody can give me any answers there. I'd been using it for
Patreon, man. Tons of people, patriots get killed on there. It's not even a fair fight. Stop building on Facebook. Stop building on Patreon. It's Twitter, website, YouTube, Rumble.
Mm-hmm. That's why we've expanded, and we have started our new podcast. So go to Spotify and search The New American Media, and particularly the Agree to Disagree show. We're putting up all of our content on there as well. So, Blake, anything else from that article? Sorry, I wanted to get to that point before we went too far afield and tried to loop it back in. I mean, this invasion is really important, and I want to know what Greg Abbott is doing. I know Arizona's been taken over, although the judges ruled that they can do the signature verification, and if they can throw some of those out, I mean, that could flip super quick. But I know what Arizona's not doing, but what is Texas doing? What is their plan?
Arizona's not doing anything. As far as I'm concerned, They might be just being run by the Sinaloa cartel. They are just infested with corruption there. So I don't expect anything to happen there. It was interesting that Laura Loomer was, I believe, doing like some ambush journalism of sorts. Actually, just real good investigative. Looking at there's a meeting with some people over in D.C. and one of the people was from the Maricopa board, the Bill Gates, not not the Bill Gates, but the different Bill Gates who's been a part of the election there in Maricopa, and he was there. So that was an odd. Um, that somebody from Arizona would be invited to this meeting, but I'll have to pull up some more of that info. I believe even Elon kind of signed off on it, saying that was it didn't look good for partisanship or who's controlling the or for election integrity. I will get to that. Okay. But getting back to this border crisis, we do have 55,000 Border Patrol apprehensions. This is just in a week. This is from Bill Mulligan, and just showing this is just before Title 42 has even dropped. The stunning numbers that have been going on. Week in review, this is from Raul Ortiz, who is the U.S. Border Patrol chief. He had 2 agents assaulted. He had 55,000 apprehensions. 18,000 something approximate gotaways, $714,000 was seized, 100 pounds of cocaine, 1,000 pounds of marijuana, 2,700 pounds of meth, 138 pounds of fentanyl, 16 firearms, 6 sex offenders, 7 gang members. That's just in a week.
Where's your compassion? Let all that through, Blake. Why are you so racist and homophobic and transphobic and misogynist? Let them through.
Well, maybe we could keep the some of that stuff. Yeah, give them. Maybe there's out of these apprehensions, maybe 10,000 are decent people, and maybe we could keep the marijuana, and maybe some of these drugs, not the fentanyl, and probably not the meth either. But who knows? I don't know. They're bringing the party over, so we'll see. It's nice, but it's also dangerous, and that's just 1 week's worth. So who knows when there's going to be millions of people flooding across. And one of the things that was alarming is that Border Patrol agents are irate after Biden regime. They've actually tipped off the illegals on what entry points to avoid, as 700,000 to 1 million illegals gather to storm the U.S. border. And there's no way that they're going to be able to, get all of them. There's just too many strength in numbers for them. And it's not going to help matters when it seems like the administration is helping to make that help happen. So it's totally crazy. And Brian, as you're mentioning, what's going on, Texas, they've deployed special tactical border force as Biden fails to protect the southern border. So on Monday morning, Governor Abbott gave a speech regarding the migrant crisis, especially on border security and Title 42 expiring. They anticipate 13,000 individuals will cross the border every single day starting tomorrow. Well, it'll probably be a huge invasion tomorrow. And then after that, there's going to be 13. There's no reason for them, not to. They're basically being incentivized. So, and protected. But don't worry. According to KJP, what's her name? Jean Pierre, the press secretary, who says illegal immigration is down 90%. Got called out by Peter Doocy. Now they're trying to pull press credentials at the White House. So it's pretty sad. So this is a failing country, and pretty soon we won't recognize anything anymore. And with a wide open border in a couple more years, and God forbid if Biden gets reelected, this is going to continue to be the policy. And they're just going to play stupid and let it happen. And if you say anything, you're a racist. So that's where we're at. Brian, I forgot what was the next subject here. I don't know what these are.
Oh, on the like the actual in the captions, you mean? What we were going to pivot off to?
No, I don't know if that was another part of your question, or another part that I was going to get to.
Yeah, I might have lost it because I
Oh, I think it was me. Let me look up Laura Loomer here on
Oh,
Twitter
yeah,
so I
that's
can
right. Yeah,
figure
I had
out
another
what.
point I was going to make, but I lost it. I was trying not to talk over you. I'm trying to be better at that.
Oh, no
Um,
worries. All right. Well, I will pull up Laura Loomer and let's see what she's doing in
Dr.
deep
Jekyll
state.
here is saying that the administration could have all the fen they could consume. I wouldn't mind. Okay. So there you go. That's a suggestion to give all of this administration all the fentanyl that's coming across the border. Please, like take some Herculean George Floyd type doses. Please, everybody in the Biden administration, have as much of this toxic fentanyl that you want. Have at it. Like a Jim Jones style Kool-Aid tank. Please have a cup, is what Dr. Jekyll is positing as a slightly tongue-in-cheek critique of allowing this toxic crap into the country. Oh, the question I was going to say when I tried not to cut you off, and I did succeed, why is Mexico not helping us? Why does Mexico want this? Why are they allowing this? I've
Why not? What are they going to say? They don't need the people. Just let them run through. And plus, as Trump has said, a lot of these countries they're dumping their, they're criminals. They could just. It's a great way for them to rid all of the undesirables, and then they come up north here, and then they just get dispersed around the country, and who knows what's going to happen? But it's not their problem. So
yeah, and how about we get some creative district attorneys in places that have common sense, reason, dignity, and values? Why can't like that murder in what was that, Texas? That 4-time deported dirtbag,
yeah,
right? He killed his neighbors. They're like, hey, can you please not fire your gun at night? We're trying to sleep here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna murder everybody in your home. Oh, okay. So where are the creative district attorneys that could charge Joe Biden with murder? Like, okay, well, it's your policies that allowed this person in here. You're not Mayorkas. Charge Mayorkas with murder. Your policies under your watch. This person slithered through here and killed people. You're responsible as well. You're a co-defendant. We're naming you. You're on trial for your life. Why? Why aren't these policies being brought to light? Why is there no accountability here? Is there somebody in Alabama, in Florida, in Texas, in a normal place with, right-leaning, red-leaning, common sense people, libertarians, whatever? Can't somebody file charges against Mayorkas for murder, for allowing this as a co-conspirator? Because it's a conspiracy. Charge Obama with this. It's all of Obama's team that are running this Obama meat puppet regime. I want to see that. Until there are consequences, Blake, more of this will continue, which is why I say the Republicans need to stay on offense. I don't know why they're not listening unless they're in on it with the Democrats.
well, they've been calling them out, but maybe maybe after tomorrow, people will start to wake up because even some of the mainstream media outlets are covering this.
That's another point I wanted to make, Blake. You said it twice. Can we replace the word mainstream with lying legacy media? Because we got to be really precise in our words.
That's fine. Yeah. So the legacy media,
Lying legacy media. Yes.
Lying legacy media are covering this. So they do know about the invasion, and at some point there is going to be a backlash. By then, it's going to be too late, and it's sad. I don't want to deport people, but I just want the best in that we can afford, that we need, and we barely have enough going around here in this country without taking on just millions of people that we don't know. We don't know who they are or what they're doing. And like you said, yeah, that violent criminal the other day, that should never have happened under a normal immigration system if it was done the right way.
We have no business taking in a single crazy person. None. Like the guy on the subway that was arrested 44 times. He needed help. He asked for help. Nobody gave him help. They dumped him out on the street again. It was inevitable what was going to happen.
Well, it's a broken system. Yeah.
We at the border, every single indigent, crazy, methed out nut job. Like you said, they're dumping the prisons. Well, what list are we cross-referencing? You don't just let everybody in. I can't, Blake. You don't let a hyena into the room with your baby in a crib. You don't let a boa constrictor into your baby's nursery. You just don't do it. These are predators that are being allowed in. Predators to harm Americans. Not all of them. But if you're not going to sift through, they're all contaminated. If you're not going to at least weed out the crazies and the criminals right off the bat, the easy ones, the teardrop face tattoo ones, the highly, arrested 42 times ones, deported 4 times ones, you can't let anyone in unless you're going to have a filter. You know what that is, Blake? You cannot consume the water from the lake until you run it through a filter, or else it could kill you and your entire family, like that person found out in Texas. So it's water filtration. Maybe instead of calling it like the border is America's nightclub, show your ID, check with the bouncer, show your ID, pay your cover, and walk in. Maybe it's just we got to filter the water from the pond. There's scum and there's bacteria in there. There's more water than bacteria, but it needs to be filtered. And if you're not going to filter it, it's potentially toxic, fatal. It's deadly. So you cannot consume the water. You cannot let the water flow into this country until it's filtered. And if you're not filtering, man, that's high crimes and misdemeanors. That is dereliction of treason. I mean that's a capital punishment type situation. You have to filter the water because the toxins in that water can kill you. It can harm Americans. It's a shame that this is happening.
Yeah, well, it is for us. I'm sure it's it's a delight for certain people, but I don't know when the average American is going to wake up and see the full scope of this and where we're headed. But the media has done a very good job of acting like there's no crisis, and that if you mention anything, it's some kind of racist replacement theory. And
But replacement theory is what Democrats have talked about with pride. They want they want a smaller percentage of white people in America. Progressives have said this. As Dr. Jekyll says, we have enough crazies in here already. They're called progressives. That's what they want. They think progress is eliminating us, 2 Caucasians, because melanin. I don't get their fixation on this, but they are fixated on it. They are racist. They are evil. I mean, talking about what they're talking about doesn't make us crazy. It makes them.
Right. Well, they get their talking points from above, the weirdo elitist think tanks that, like, say, Laura Loomer's trying to expose here. So she actually confronted Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates, Arizona, today at the Spy Museum in D.C., where I guess they had George Soros affiliated and Mark Zuckerberg funded election summit to discuss the 2024 election. So they're already, gearing up for whatever shenanigans they're about to pull next year. So they are rigging our whole system. So good on Laura for confronting them. We'll see the videos when they do come out later.
And did Facebook ever face repercussions for their election meddling and election interference?
No, and they are, up to their neck in that. They put a lot of money into it, and they were basically interfering in the election.
Drop boxes,
for all intents and purposes.
Harvesting.
Yeah, like why would they get involved in all of that? So
because
meanwhile they're shutting us down.
Because it's a CIA operation.
But why is Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates going over to D.C. for an election summit? So, but it feels like something's afoot. I don't know. They're planning something again, and it's not good.
You know what I think it is, Blake?
What is that?
Chicanery.
Yep, probably.
I suspect chicanery is afoot.
So I hope there's the good confrontation. Laura Loomer's pretty fearless, so it should be interesting to see. And I would like to see the Maricopa County Board answer for things. But they're always hiding. I know Carrie Lake's still battling
Yeah, and good for her. She won her court case. It's not being reported, but she's able to look at all those signatures to verify. I mean, just imagine it was a super close election. It wasn't. I think it was a blowout. It was a potential blowout in terms of real ballots. We'll see. I mean, what happens if you find out that a large percentage or a percentage enough to overturn the election if they're fraudulent ballots, which has been long suspected. Anyway, just you wouldn't want to make it easy for someone to impersonate you at your bank. You wouldn't want it to make it easy for someone to impersonate you anywhere that you hold near and dear. But you want to make it easy for someone to impersonate you on the paper that determines all of the policies that govern your local municipalities, your state, and your country. Give me a break. So yeah, I mean, not surprised. But all right, well, so you're saying good on Laura Loomer. She's our winner of the day for calling attention to something that needs more attention.
Yeah, well, yeah. When Soros and Zuckerberg and a corrupt politician from Maricopa are getting together, and who knows with who else is also showing up, yeah, they're getting ready for more interference in 2024. It ain't going to be good. They're not calling for, same day voting and signature, matching and voter IDs and getting rid of drop boxes. Rest assured of that. Not talking about getting rid of the machinery.
You said this was see, I feel like machinery and chicanery, they're kind of like slant rhymes. They could be used in the same stance of a hip hop song. Maybe something Harry Mack. So if we get the chance to give Harry Mack 3 words, we'll use chicanery. What was the other one? I said machinery.
Machinery.
Chicanery, machinery.
Yeah.
And near and dear to me. I don't know. Okay. Well, cool. So you said who's doing? Zuckerberg is there?
He's funding it.
Okay, so
he's not saying he's not there.
Okay, Soros?
Yeah,
he's there.
Soros is funding it. Yeah,
funding it, or he's there. It's like
I doubt he's there.
Like a panel.
Well, I'm not going to run the video, but yeah, I'm already off of there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a place called CEIR. They're hosted. It's a Soros affiliated and Zuckerberg funded election summit to discuss 2024 election. So it'll be like Bilderberg and a bunch of, a secret meeting, and they're hanging out discussing the election. It's probably not good. So anyway, that's what's going on there.
Okay, well, that's our number one story of the day. We're going to move along. We got a few others in the stack that we're going to burn through. So any final words on this topic, sir?
No.
I'm just holding my breath, and I'm shaking my head. My head's in my hand. I'm just, it's hard not to feel defeated. It's hard.
We're done. It's over, Brian. The republic is finished. They're trying to bring down America, and they'll be fine. They'll be in their giant mansions and their gated communities, and they can let the people come in on the borders and watch us, duke it out over resources. So they'll just enjoy their popcorn and have their secret meetings, and they'll be mocking us.
So would you say you're black-pilled, Blake?
I've gotten more pessimistic over the years. So
I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
Right. Well, we've just been, taking defeat after defeat after defeat, and it seems obvious that everything's rigged, and yet nothing's being done. So,
yeah, where are the wins? We don't have enough wins. It's like, oh, trust the plan. Shut up and do something. No, I'm not going to sit back and just, I think things will work out. I don't know. Of course, it'll probably work out. Nothing's working out. Nothing. Like, do something. Somebody do something. Won't somebody do something? Anybody. Somebody, Blake.
Yeah, well, I was going to be Trump, but they were years, and then they should have won in a landslide in a re-election, but didn't. They got him out of there. They've taken back over, and good luck getting it back again.
Are you sure he didn't? And I've read this before, but this is a paragraph. It's a couple of sentences. It's so important. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have. So I try to remember shit like that when I'm feeling pessimistic, I'm feeling defeated, I'm feeling distraught, I'm feeling helpless, hopeless, feckless, worthless. Do you know what that's from? The Princess Bride?
No. What?
Inconceivable.
I've seen that movie like 50 times. All right, I don't remember that. All right. Well, I know Inconceivable, but
you don't remember that from Princess Bride?
Is that what he was saying? I don't remember the exact the quotes there. Hello,
It's,
MJ.
and remember this. He goes,
yes.
Inconceivable. And remember this. Never forget this. When I found you, you were so slobbering drunk you couldn't buy brandy. And you, friendless, brainless, helpless, hopeless.
Oh, good call, Brian. Check out the memory on Brian.
Yeah, I can act on demand.
Nice.
It's called acting. Yeah. When I do that voice though, it gets me a little.
John Lovitz. All right, okay, I got that one. All right.
Yeah. All right. No, did you say John Lovitz? Oh, okay. Acting. That was John Lovitz. Yeah. But when I said verklempt, who was verklempt?
That's Mike Myers.
Yes. Good. You got the
coffee talk.
Well, coffee talk. Dr. Jekyll saying, and we'll have our torches and pitchforks storming the castle walls.
Let's see. Tried. Yeah, that was no. It just set up. No, I mean there was, J6 is supposed to be a big peaceful protest, and you have some strategically placed provocateurs, and who knows how many dozens of people that were infiltrated. They have ways of just of controlling everything, whether the Occupy movement. They bring it all down. So I don't know how we overcome this, Brian. It's challenge of our lifetime.
Jekyll's mentioning pitchforks and torches. J6 was not pitchforks and torches. That was I said this on we were filming and I was watching this debacle play out in front of me, and I remember saying, and I said it out loud on video. Most of the day I was pretty quiet. I was filming. I was vacuuming up content. I didn't want me to be a part of it. I was just filming for the most part, and there were segments that we did in between, and we did the Man on the Street. Yeah, go on YouTube and check our Man on the Street and our project Declassified, the unreleased J6 interviews. But yeah, I remember saying this is just a warning. Nobody fired a shot that day. Nobody, anybody, somebody, nobody, anybody, or somebody, everybody. You get the point. Nobody fired a shot. They weren't
firing flashbangs around. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing that. Yeah. Nobody, not a single shot was fired except that man that killed the unarmed woman veteran, shooting her in the neck. That was the only shot fired that day. It was just a warning. So no, that wasn't like a failed coup attempt. It never was. That was so ridiculous that they spent 2 years trying to damage Trump on these, trumped up charges with Pelosi and the rest. Bunch of clowns. But yeah, okay. You get it. Anyway, MJ Sedona saying even the FBI admitted that J6 was not an insurrection. Of course.
Yeah, they wanted to frame that as that's what they wanted, but
glad it fell apart. Luckily, Tucker was able to get us one clip of footage.
One day, one show. You got one show through, had some bombshells, and then the media or the DC freaked out and put a stop to that. And then gone a couple months later.
Yep, and I'm still contacting Speaker McCarthy. He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's on the verge of breaking his promise. we need this in a timely manner. That Jacob Chansley was released from jail because of that footage. How many other people are rotting in jail because you haven't released the footage? So
yeah, but
I'm
if all
still
the footage comes out, then the DC politicians might be rotting in jail when they figure out what really happened and how they perhaps orchestrated that.
Yeah, perhaps. Okay,
Steered
so
things, and yeah.
look, Blake, let's continue to hold a little bit of hope that one day, hopefully very, very freaking soon, because we can't, how much more of this can we take? One day, very soon, something happen, and it's going to be the dominoes clacking around. You see those domino videos, and they're going up hills, and then it gives you this rich mosaic, this artwork that, you know, painstakingly, it took me 4.5 months with a team of 20 people to recreate the Eiffel Tower, to painstaking 36-to-1 detail in this abandoned airport hangar. And you're like, wow. One day, Blake, the first domino clicks, and all of these clowns start getting vacuumed up and put in prison for their crimes. I'm rooting for it, but I'm not going to hold my breath because somebody, anybody, everybody, nobody. I'm not going to hold my breath and expect somebody else to do it. I'm going to do my part. My part is media. You know, my part is not pitchforks and torches. My part is media. My part is communication. It's about amplification. There's another 2 good words that we could give Harry Mack if we get a chance to give 3 words: amplification and communication. Those are good ones. MJ saying Proud Boys go. I mean, you know,
those guys were set up, infiltrated, and it sucks to see that that's happening. And in fact, of our intro, the last person in there is Joe Biggs, who was just sentenced. So it's terrible.
What did he get?
I don't. I forget the offhand. I'm not sure, but he's
I've
going to be looking at years in prison unless they can hopefully put out some more footage that can exonerate him. I don't know. I don't exactly know what he's all responsible for, or what they actually did, or if they were sung by infiltrators. I don't know the full story, but it seems like there are some innocent people that are being held in a gulag, and they should be released.
And you filmed.
We'll see what the facts say.
You filmed Stuart Rhodes out in the Bundy Ranch, right? Is that where that was?
I've always thought Stuart Rhodes was a good guy. I don't know if he was involved in sedition. I don't know all of the details of the case, so I'm hearing different things.
And I've interviewed him.
I always thought he was a stand-up guy, and he was. But I don't.
But I mean,
I really don't know.
The concept of Oath Keepers is to stand up and do something when you know the Constitution is being subverted by enemy combatants, right? Like,
right, so, taken over by enemies, foreign and domestic, and that's where Oath Keepers come in to say, follow your oath. You're not following orders from a corrupt regime, a kleptocracy.
So I mean,
and that's what we've seen.
Like
these people are not legitimate. They do not have America's interest at heart, and I don't blame them for being some sort of a resistance movement, which shouldn't be resistance. It's just old school. It's just Sons of Liberty stuff. You've got to resist when you've got a hostile occupation. But I don't know all the details of it, so I'm not. And I've heard things that maybe he's got some character flaws as well. I don't know all of that, but and I haven't talked to the guy in 8 years. It's been a long time. He used to be in Vegas, and then he moved to Idaho or Montana or something, and but now I think he's in a prison in Oklahoma. So if he's innocent, I sincerely hope he gets out. But I think any charges have probably been greatly exaggerated, if not just completely trumped up. And we saw what happened with Chansley. So there could be evidence out there that should release all these people, but that would be damaging to the people that are in control. They want to present it as though these people are all domestic terrorists. So it's projection and putting their political opponents in prison. So we'll see how that develops. But if they're good people, I sincerely hope they get out as soon as possible and get rewarded for being wrongfully imprisoned.
Interesting. All right, cool. Now let's move on to the next topic. We got a few more we want to get into. But I mean, this is the number one topic of the day. This is the number one. Like we have to spend some time. and you know, it's one story, but it's nuanced because there's a lot of different components to the story. They're all so many stories are interconnected. You can't unscramble the eggs. It's like, well, you put butter in the pan, then you added some seasoning, and you chopped up some onions, and you mixed it into the scrambled. Like, it's all together. It's all kind of a part of it. Yeah, and part of the story is where we're on the verge. Was this Jocelyn saying about what about the collapse of 2.5 quadrillion worth of derivatives? The dominoes are falling. Check gold and silver prices today. We've seen the lowest price of silver forever. Get yours now.
No, silver's going up a lot. It's almost $26. It's $25.92. That's the current price. It has shot up dramatically. It was under 20 there for a few months.
Right in March 13 of 2020. It was it got lower than that. 1239 on March 2020.
Well, 2020 was different. Everything was down. But I mean, in the last, what are the lows in the last few months? I think it got down into the 18 range, 18, 19 briefly.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, yeah, it's extraordinarily undervalued. Now it's shooting up a lot. So $26 is strong.
Whereas in 2012, it was 35 an ounce.
Yeah. There's been some spikes.
All right. Yep.
But still, still a good price depending on what you can get it for spot, because you're probably still going to be spending over $30 an ounce.
Yeah.
But absolutely get some. If you don't have, I highly recommend. Physical silver, definitely. You never know. So it's time. Silver, gold, maybe Bitcoin. Even the cryptos are having some issues. Ethereum and Bitcoin transaction prices and network struggles and all of that stuff. But we do know that the economy is got a lot of problems, and
what a great
dollars losing value.
Flood the country with 6.3 million people that don't speak the language, don't have any identifiable, discernible talents or skills. That have been filtered once again. Pond water, filter it. Like who are the mechanics, the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, who are the talented people among the pool? We don't know. Are they just bringing up busloads full of criminals? It's like, hey, we don't want to pay for you rotting away in jail. Get on this bus. We're taking you to America. We're just going to dump you into El Paso. Dude, you gotta filter the water. You got a cow carcass floating in the pond. It's contaminated everything. You gotta remove it, and you gotta filter the water. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, but I am kind of curious. What is MJ Jocelyn saying? Expect market chaos to hit tonight and tomorrow. Why tonight and tomorrow? And she's also saying we the people.
We're waiting for another leg to drop with the economy. It's just kind of hovering there, but it doesn't seem like there's much of a foundation. So with all of the banks struggling right now, we had a few bank failures. The financial crisis was worse than 2008. There's 70 more banks that are in danger of falling, and who knows beyond that, and the contagion from all of this stuff. Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. So I'm definitely a fan of physical silver, just in case. Get a few rounds, something like that.
I like especially what?
Oh, saying tonight and tomorrow because contracts have ended? I don't know. I don't know all of the what's going on exactly behind the scenes.
Dr. Jekyll is saying, ever notice how the Skittles Mafia? Yeah, Rainbow Mafia or Skittles Mafia. Those are just great ways to sum up, because it really is cult-like behavior. It's notice how the Skittles Mafia and the Third Reich are so into flags and parades. We're seeing a parallel between the two, the Third Reich and the Skittles Mafia. All right, interesting point. So the contracts have ended. We'll see. Cool. But I just want to add. I just want to point this out, how important it is. We are all learning about the most important stories of the day together. That's the point of getting together on the Agree to Disagree show. We have a few stories in mind, but we need you to highlight some of these for us as well. So, all right, without further ado, let me bounce over to the next topic, sir.
722.
Well, we're talking about economy. We're talking about finances, all that stuff. So let's say this. Blake, do you agree or disagree that Joe Biden is the greatest job creator in history? Or are you racist?
No, he's disagree. He
Ooh,
did put that Twitter post out, and people started freaking out. Yeah, it seemed like they were in the moment for a while because it was just flaming propaganda. But they were eventually called out by Community Notes.
Blake,
And
are you misogynist? Why wouldn't you agree with that statement?
I guess so. It's purely he's been great, and I'm just bitter because my guy lost. So there you have it.
That's probably it. So what is the lie with Biden that like they're trying to claim that he's the best economic job creator in presidential history and he's the youngest, most youthful. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll, job killer, lost 100,000 his first day.
Let's see if I can get to it. Let's I got too many open windows here. I don't know where you're going. So here we go. Biden fact-checked into oblivion by Twitter Community Notes after touting record job creation. Yeah, he put out this tweet. I think it was Friday.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you invest in America. We have more work to do, but this is real progress. And if you compare it to the last 40 years
underwater. That's hilarious.
Yeah, look at that. He's
You need to put a picture of Fauci right there. That's not Trump. They need to split that into two terms. Trump's boom and Fauci's failure. Fauci's mass execution.
Right. So
anywho,
they kind of misrepresented that to make it look like, of course, all the Democratic presidents are creating tons of jobs. Clinton, Biden, just astronomical. That's because he's doing such a fantastic job, and Trump is the only one on this list who's underwater. So, but then readers added the context, saying the record job creation, air quotes, is due to the COVID-19 recovery rather than any effort by the current president. Jobs were created at a steady rate between 2010 and 2020, followed by a sharp drop due to COVID-19, which explained why Trump is down here. And then once they were brought back, there you go, Biden, but they are taking credit, and they are just purposefully attempted to mislead Americans. So it's a good thing that they were all called out on that. But yeah, a lot of people, it's sad to see that when they just put this ridiculous propaganda stuff out there, and then you see all the paid influencers that are celebrating. Oh, look how great Joe Biden is. But none of it actually held up to reality. And even Elon Musk was very critical of that system, which is funny to see him chime in from time to time on Twitter.
Critical of that system? How? What are you saying?
Well, it's just critical of the what was put out there.
Yeah.
Of Joe Biden saying that, and it was obvious. They were all just like laughing at it, going, "How did they come up with something like that?" So I think Elon Musk. I don't have the tweet in front of me here, but he did say like, maybe note that maybe the community of notes should take a look at this. But we'll see. So he failed the fact check.
So, and the other biggest fact check fail of recent time was Karine Jean-Pierre saying that illegal immigration is down 70%, 90%?
90%, she said.
I mean, come on, man. They're straight up lying to you, vying for you.
Oh, so MJ Sedona, 722 banks are insolvent. Yeah, I believe there's that many that have like unrealized losses. So I think that's right. I think I was underplaying it. 72, it might be 720. Yeah. So yeah, we're amidst a serious economic crisis. They're just able to kind of float this out longer than it should.
Perfect. Great time to bring in 6.3 million people, unvetted, unfiltered, into our country. I'm sure they're going to find ample jobs since our economy is booming and everybody's laying people off. What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. But here we are.
Here we are. So, all right. Anything else to say about this one other than calling out?
No, what about you? I already covered it. What do you think, Brian? Is that you agree or disagree? Is Biden the great job president? Greatest job creator in history. Well, hey, that facts don't lie. I mean, I guess, what do they say? The numbers don't lie, but people lie about the numbers.
There are
So
lies.
technically, the jobs have been created because, yeah, the COVID restrictions were dropped. But is that because of your policy? Nah.
There are lies, there are damn lies, and there are statistics. Yeah, it's. I have a psychology degree, and one of the most important things that we learned was how to read a study. You know, like a double-blind study, a report. And we all know that most of these reports that come out with trials, you know, be it drugs or be it, you know, what do they say? A magician pulls rabbits out of hats, but a cognitive neuroscientist pulls habits out of rats. That's one of my favorite joke quotes of all time. You know, and we know that most of these studies are created by somebody who's funding them. How do you get more funding? NIH, Fauci, go down that list. You create a study that's going to give you the result that you're looking for. So in the realm of psychology, we were taught very quickly, it doesn't matter what a survey says, a report says. You know, a recent study published in the New York, you know, the New England Journal of Medicine says that X equals Y. You know, because of this is happening. Hold on. Always look at the details of the mathematical equation that was used to create that result. I mean, how you're going to talk job creation to undo the things that you did in 2021 to shut the economy down is beyond absurd. That would be the first thing you would note if this was submitted to a journal, a allegedly prestigious journal. You would instantly look at that first fact and go, this is all crap. Nope, it's all crap. Why is it crap? Well, this is the COVID crap. Like, clearly, like, this is not a thing. And like was pointed out in our comments section, you know, day one, you're shutting down all those energy jobs. Day one, you're stopping drilling on American soil. Day one, you're, you know, and on top of it now, 6.3 million people, was it 42? Prop 40? No, what 42?
Title 42?
Title 42, not prop, title. 6.3 million already. So now that many people are going to be fighting for that fewer jobs. Like all these big companies, the box stores are going out of business, like Bed Bath & Beyond, et cetera, et cetera. Burger King is shutting down locations. Everybody's laying off 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 across the board. It's happening. You know, what a perfect time to bring in another wave of people looking for jobs with their hands out. Like, please, I want some. We have some what? Like, nobody has anything. What are you talking about? Yeah, no, I can't even answer that question. Joe Biden is the greatest creator in history. Fine, I disagree. But yeah, even just putting it out there for debate is ridiculous. And unfortunately, that is the state of affairs that we find ourselves in. So, all right. Got a few more we want to get to. The next topic, Blake. You know, you often chop these up into Blake's bits. Yeah, Blake's bits. How about that? Blake's takes and Blake's bits. When I finish a sentence and I press the button for the stinger, do I chop off what I'm saying or are you hearing it? Like when you go through and you're trying to pinpoint and you got to cut and paste and kind of find the marker as you hear me ending a thought and then it jumps into the transition. I'm sure you've listened to a few of these. Am I timing it right or am I chopping off the last couple syllables of the sentence I'm wrapping?
I don't think it makes any difference. I'm not sure that I've seen anyway.
Okay.
Sometimes there is a delay, but I usually don't use that part anyway.
Gotcha. Dr. Jekyll saying, don't forget about Walmart. Okay, yep, Walmart leaving people out. Yep. Jocelyn, how about Amazon, Google, and the banks just let go in the last month? Millions of people. What is this? The U.S. could default as soon as June 1. Job numbers will tumble and gold and silver will go to the moon. They will roll out the Fed now. Yeah, it's all part of their game. And then Soros has gotten his open border policy wishes granted. He can happily burn and yep, where he will burn. Okay, cool. Next topic here. Blake, agree or disagree that protesters on the New York subway are being disingenuous? Wow, I mean, it seems like it's the most noble thing any human can do is to protest, right? Allegedly, that's what we're told by not the mainstream media, the legacy media. Are protesters on the New York subway being disingenuous? Do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to agree on that, and I guess it's another one that Elon put out there. But yeah, I'm all in favor of peaceful protesting and getting the word out. But it seems like like what we've discussed, the Democrats have lost the plot, and they seem to be just protesting everything emotionally, reacting, and they're not actually learning about the facts of what they're actually protesting against. So I've seen a really bad pattern with this for a few years now. It's gone on longer than that, but I mean specifically, we had, George Floyd was one, Michael Brown was one. That was a little while ago.
Yeah,
I forget what was Freddie Gray in Wisconsin. Yeah, that's led to the whole
I think
right over there. Yeah,
Freddie Gray was.
Freddie Gray. Okay, who was it? Oh, it was Blake. It was some Jacob Blake in.
He was yeah. LeBron James came out bashing that, and then he doxed a cop. It's like
isn't it Jacob Blake? Then that led to all the rioting over there, and that's where in Kenosha, and then that's where Rittenhouse came in, right? It's because of that. So it's like
and then that gets us. The Rittenhouse turns into the New York subway when you will not sweep up the mentally ill people and take them away, when you will not sweep the criminals off the streets and lock them in a cage forever so they will not ruin society for the rest of us, you're going to have people doing what somebody could have done, what anybody could have done. Somebody, anybody, nobody, everybody. It's the same thing. Well, when you're getting attacked by a violent pedophile just released from jail, spewing the N-word at this kid, like, yeah, you're going to have people defend themselves. You're going to either have people getting murdered by these nut jobs, or you're going to have people like the Marine in New York took him down. Like, this is New York. Like, people took down the towers, people, whoever they are. No stranger to terrorism. This crazy guy, people, all the stories are coming out. This guy has been harassing that neighborhood, that community for years and years and years. What was it? 44 arrests since 2013, I believe.
Yeah, it was over 40.
When you will not get rid of the people that are the biggest problem in your communities, you're going to have people. Perfect example, Blake. Living in Los Angeles, I found out that there was a meth house. And bad people started coming by. And one of the people, he wasn't the ringleader, but he was like the most active, because what he did was he went from building to building. And we're talking, there's probably at least 50 buildings in this neighborhood, probably 500 individual units, 2 city blocks, all condos. And he was going around front porch to front porch, stealing anything that wasn't bolted down, breaking into the mail and stealing mailboxes, breaking into the laundry rooms and then breaking the machines so they could steal the quarters, breaking into cars, breaking into homes. And we begged for help. Trust me, I got involved, and we begged for somebody, anybody, everybody, nobody to help us. Anybody, please. This guy attacks a cop with a hammer. It's like, oh, thank God, at least he's done. Just thank God. They dumped this dirtbag back on our streets the next day. The gangs put a hit out on this guy because nobody was doing anything to help. The police, they're like, oh, well, our hands are tied. The district attorney said this, and the ACLU filed this lawsuit. It's like, we are so screwed. If our system can't protect everyone from that tiny percentage of mentally ill, drug-addicted nutbags, violent people, criminals, thieves, rapists. You can't protect us from that. You're obviously going to have more situations like Kyle Rittenhouse, like the New York subway. What we're just supposed to sit there and be abused? No. This guy, he punched an elderly lady in the face, and he tried to kidnap a 7-year-old. Like, this was a predator. This was a monster amongst us. And the Marine detained him.
Well, he might not have been a monster. He was like a violent schizophrenic. But I mean, there's mixed reviews. You know, one day he's a straight performer and is Michael Jackson, and the next day he's off his medication and freaking out. But he's a loose cannon, and he was actually, I guess, on a secret New York City top 50 list of homeless people in need of assistance and treatment. From
whose list?
That's Jordan Neely.
No. Who had the list? Who made the list?
That I don't. It's from the New York Times. Was well known for years to the social work teams that reach out to homeless people on subways and had hundreds of encounters with them, according to an employee at the Bowery Residents Committee, nonprofit organization that does subway outreach for the city. So they had a roster maintained by the city of homeless people living on the street, who the officials consider most urgently in need of assistance and treatment. Taken to hospitals numerous times, both voluntarily and involuntarily. He said, he spoke up anonymously, racked up more than 36 arrests. Many were the sort that people living on the street often accrue while homeless, like turnstile jumping or trespassing. But at least 4 were on charges of punching people, 2 on the subway.
There you go. That part right there. Right. You know, there's some low level stuff that you can have some you can work with some of that stuff. You can be lenient with some of that stuff. Not the violent shit. Nope. Violent shit. And you know what, Blake? This is you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for someone to charge Alvin Bragg with murder. He failed them with his soft on crime bullshit. People that are dangerous and violent have to be in facilities for treatment. They cannot be in general population. They have forfeited their right. I know Steven Crowder said you forfeit your right to live. When you become violent, we don't know where this is going, but we have no obligation to participate in your game. I know Dave Chappelle said, about the transgender topic. He's like, do what you want, but to what degree am I being required to participate in your delusion? Like, how are you going to compel me to be a part of your play? I don't know. I that's a little too far. But we have to address the fact that we're arresting and keeping. We can arrest, but we're not holding. We're not detaining. We're not committing these people to mental institutions. They cannot walk amongst us. They are a danger to all of us. The 7-year-old he tried to abduct, the elderly lady he punched in the face, the train of people that he threw. What were his exact words? I don't know if the article says that or if you remember them off the top of your head. I don't even know how damn important it is. But we have to take these people off the streets. You don't allow them to piss and shit right there on the sidewalk and call that humane. That is the opposite of humane. And some people say with the transgender topic, it's like, it is not humane to go along with, yeah, Leah Thomas, you're a brilliant, beautiful woman. It's like, you're a dude who's swimming against ladies. This is not okay. If you want to live your life in a certain way and you're not going to harm other people, that's one thing. But if, the subject of the swimmer, that Thomas guy, when the NC, and I had this thought, this is a bit of a tangent. It's a little off topic, but not really, because we're talking about compassion versus not compassionate. And the problem with this swimming situation, it's like the NCAA, oh, well, if you're, we're going to measure testosterone. And if you're on hormone therapy for X amount of time and your testosterone levels are at a certain level, then we will let you compete. No, zero tolerance. Because when you're doing that, you're incentivizing more people to start messing with their hormones. You have hormones for a reason. Your body is a machine. You really don't want to start putting diesel fuel into a regular gas guzzling machine. You don't want to go in and tear up the plumbing and the electrical in your system. You don't want to do that. So you're encouraging more of this. You're encouraging it by that policy. If you said, no, zero tolerance, go compete over there, thank you very much, you don't incentivize it. So I think where the transgender thing got interesting and it got really militant now is because there is a medical, a portion of the medical industrial complex right now that is trying to mangle and mutilate kids. Yeah, that's a line in the sand. The encouraging of this by places like the NCAA trying to get you on hormone therapy, trying to get you to grow a micro penis, trying to get you to slice that micro penis apart to invert it and make a fake uterus. It's just, no, hard stop. Nope, we are not going to encourage this anymore. This is dangerous. This is violent. This should be criminal. If an adult wants to make their decision at 18 and, you put face tattoos and put horns on your head and cut your limbs off and you want to put acid in your eyes because you felt like you should have always been blind. I saw that one going around. It's like, at some point you kind of have to protect people from themselves and along with delusions. Going along with delusions is not helping somebody. No. We got to empty the prisons. We got to get people out of jail. No. You're not just protecting us from violent criminals like this person on the subway. You're protecting that person from being killed in self-defense. It is not compassionate to let people just pitch a tent, crapping and peeing all over the sidewalk, shopping carts with just trash. Entities have turned into vagrant camps. This is not compassion. These people need to be in a compassionate care facility immediately. I don't know what has to change as a nation, but we are failing. Big blue city governors, the DAs, all of the people involved with setting policy, they have blood on their hands for this. This guy, like you said, maybe some days he's good, sometimes he's not. You sort that out in a mental health facility. You cannot let that person roam around the streets. There was another video. Did you see the one? Did I share it? I'm trying to remember if I have it. I can't share it to you right now because I don't know where I put it. But it was the same guy that confronted Tucker Carlson fly fishing in New York in a river. He had a violent interaction with that Michael Jackson guy. That Michael Jackson guy was hitting him and cussing at him because he walks around filming people and just whatever. Like this guy lashed out, and it was like back-to-back, side-to-side interactions. How many crimes did this subway guy commit? Like the assault of the person I saw in this video weren't even reported. It's not just 44 crimes. There had to have been a ton more. It's like these are the crimes we know about. So, Blake, just what's your thought on that general overarching compassion versus needing to get treatment and to be to be quarantined off from society after forfeiting your right because you're a violent maniac?
Well, I just think all these people should not be out on the streets. They should be kept somewhere where they can be taken care of until they can get on their feet or something. But yeah, I don't believe in all this normalization of homeless people scattered around. That doesn't make any sense. It's a poor reflection of our society and culture. So there must be some way, and it would produce a bunch of jobs too, right? For people to help these and make them productive. Just have them out of the way, get whatever nutrition or drugs or whatever they need, and that's fine. I think that would be better than just letting them run around on the streets where they're a danger to themselves and other people. So I'm all in favor of that. And just to wrap up the point here, what they're saying is that it's disingenuous for all these people to to be protesting that. So here's a quote from Andy No, or a tweet saying this: Jordan Neely has gone viral due to leftist and BLM misinformation. More New Yorkers are speaking out about their experiences with this dangerous man. One person said Neely tried to push him onto the train tracks. So yeah, he was occasionally out of his mind. He was a danger, and he was arrested 40 or 50 times. And yeah, you're right, Brian. We don't know how many other things that he was gotten away with that should have been crimes. So it's not just to pick on this one guy. There's lots of these people. But then, these protesters, these idiots, without rushing to judgment before they get the facts out, they just see a white Marine executing this innocent fellow on the subway, but that's not what happened. And then these idiots go out on the tracks protesting that, and that's what Elon Musk is saying is disingenuous. Did they do anything when the kids at the Nashville school were killed by the trans shooter? No, of course not. But they run out for this guy because they think it's some kind of protected minority, and it's ridiculous. So I don't understand why people don't get the facts of the case before they go out and protest. But this is a dangerous problem with our society right now. We have a really dumbed down, emotionally reactive public that thinks they're great activists, but they're not. So then it turns out, this guy's got a lot of issues. He's a violent schizophrenic. And
I remember walking a couple blocks up to the train station in Los Angeles, and I had a crazy guy scream, "Fuck you!" like right in my face as I was walking past him. I kind of stopped riding the subway at that point, at the light rail line. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel comfortable. They're congregation centers for crazy people, violent people, thieves, criminals. Just really, you got to keep these places safe. You have to do it. And this situation with this guy on the subway, and I just, and the George Floyd thing got so out of hand. Like, how many people that were rioting across the country being egged on by people like Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, just really egging it on. How many of them watched the video? As soon as that guy was pulled over, he was saying he couldn't breathe. The story was he ingested all of that fentanyl so he wouldn't get criminally charged with it, of possession. So he ingested it and overdosed. They had him in the back of the cop car. And he lunged and slithered and squirmed, and like with his handcuff, he jumped out of the car onto the ground where he was, okay, knee on the, I'm holding you. It looked bad. Like, the dude overdosed in the whole country. I mean, we lived through 2020. I don't know what the fascination with this is, other than we're going to take our power back. I will not let one of our black men get crucified by a white man, and white society, and America's evil. I don't understand the appeal of like trying to go back to that as a default setting. Like, Emmett Till was many decades ago. There are clear cases of things we don't tolerate in a society anymore. But we've gone from like Matthew Shepard. He was the gay guy in rural America, and he went to a bar, and some of these good old boys didn't like him, so they beat him to death and dragged him in the back of a truck. That Matthew Shepard was one of the biggest cases of the 90s. And it's like, okay, well, no, whether you are gay or not gay, whether you are straight or not straight, it doesn't matter. You have no right to go harming somebody that lives their life in a way that's differently from yours. And you're like, yeah, I mean, of course, yes, I can definitely get behind that. But we've gone so far from that. It's like, you will call me my new made-up name, or I will get you imprisoned. Like, that's literally happening in England and Canada right now. We thought Jordan Peterson years ago was like, yeah, okay. I mean, cool story about what you're going through, but like, why are you making such a big deal out of this? It's not really happening. It's not really impacting. Oh, no. He knew exactly what it was. And it's unfortunate that we keep being played by mainstream media, the lying legacy media. We keep getting played for these repetitive stories. Black guy dies, America bad, white people bad, loot and plunder and block traffic for people that have innocent people that are just trying to go about their daily life. People like you and I who probably lean libertarian. I know you were formerly Democrat, or the old version of what Democrat used to be, and I used to think Republicans were better than I've realized they are, because I like some of the core components of self-defense and freedom of speech that they're supposed to stand for. And we're both overlap in libertarian, very libertarian. Do what you want as long as you're not harming somebody else. You're burning cities down, you're blocking subways. You have no idea who's trying to get to a job interview, and you ruined their opportunity of upward mobility. You have no idea that you're trying to pick somebody up from school, and because you don't pick them up, they're going to walk home abducted or hit by you have no right to impact somebody else's life and ruin their day. That's the opposite of libertarianism. That becomes a crime. And so doing this stuff the Dems really know how to take advantage of dumb people. It's just, it's, I don't know, sad or angry or sangry or all of the above, but it's just this tired trope that they keep going back to, the lying legacy media and the Democrat Party. They're addicted to burning this place down and destroying things. They've been called a death cult, and please show me reasons to prove me I'm wrong. So yeah, this guy on this train didn't have to die. And the people on that train certainly do not owe the abuse that he was giving people and the threats of physical harm or death that he was providing people. New York City failed this man by not keeping him in a mental health facility where he belonged. It is the opposite of compassion to put somebody like that out into Gen Pop, to just let them roam free in society, because this was inevitable. This was inevitable. This person had been not just jumping turnstiles, not just trespassing, violently attacking kids, elderly, anyone in between on his bad days. That person forfeited their right to live amongst us. New York City failed him and has blood on their hands because they wouldn't do what they made somebody else have to do. And Lord help me if DA Bragg is going to file charges against that Marine that protected the people on that train that day. Because that's the other shoe about to drop, right, Blake? We're kind of waiting to see if what they're gonna do with this, right? And if they can try to indict Trump on something that's not a thing, that's past the statute of limitations, misdemeanors trumped up to felonies for no reason other than political gain. If that guy's making this decision, I mean, do we have any faith that he's not going to try to ruin this Marine's life like they tried to ruin Kyle Rittenhouse's life? Thankfully, that was all on video, or else they would have strung him up. They would have framed him and locked him up and thrown him away the key like Jacob Chansley on January 6th, who was peaceful, who was polite, who prayed for the officers, who walked him around politely, calmly, casually in the people's house. So, I mean, is there any hope that we can change what we do with the criminally insane in this country, Blake? I don't know if it's the ACLU. I don't know where it needs to come from, but we have to protect those people from themselves getting into situations where they end up like this. I really do. I blame Alvin Bragg and I blame New York for this. They should have had him arrested. They should have him. He cannot be walking amongst us. Is there any hope?
Well, now with the current structure in place, yeah, if we get the right people in, yeah.
Good.
But obviously not going to come from within until there's major changes. We'll see. Yeah, elections have consequences.
They do.
All right, Brian. We've got like 10 minutes and like 3 stories. I don't even know if I say 10 minutes. We're already pushing close to 2 hours already. I think we still have what 3, 1, 2.
We'll get to the next one right now. How about that?
Okay.
I'm going to go with this one since we're talking about this nonstop, incessant fixation with trying to garner money, control political power, shame, guilt, using race issues. Here we go. Here's another one. Blake, do you agree or disagree that Hispanics and blacks can also be white supremacists?
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to agree, maybe in very rare cases, but probably not in general. It seems obviously ridiculous, but they are really trying to spin this story with the latest shooter. I kind of disappeared off of Twitter this weekend because it's like every time there's a mass shooting, it's just like, oh God, I'm not here for this again. Because then all I see on the blue side, the Democrat side, is, what are they gonna do about guns? How many more? And it's just the same talking points over and over and over. So I'm glad the right wing is there to counterbalance and to have the discussion. I just want to stay out of it. I'm so sick of this conversation over and over, and it seems like it's every few weeks. But it's a good time for detox because I've had it. But yes, we have another big shooting, and then it turns out the people battle about it, like, oh, they think it's another white supremacist, and it's something like that. And then when the facts come out, it usually turns out to be something more to it. And in this case, it turned out that this man was Hispanic, and he had Nazi tattoos, and he was scoping out this mall in Texas. And then he decided to make history in his own way. And he is no more. He was taken out. And so here we go. We'll try to run a couple of stories here. And we'll get to the main point of whether he can be a white supremacist or not. So, here it is. As this media is reporting, Hispanic mall mass shooter Mauricio Garcia. And here we go. Police have identified the man who shot and killed at least 8 people at an outlet mall in Allen, Texas. 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia killed at the scene, meaning his efforts to determine the motivations for his actions are slower to emerge. So we're not quite sure. He didn't have quite the manifesto, but he did, I guess, apparently keep a diary of sorts on some weird Russian website. So they say Hispanic Americans often find themselves at the blurry edges of whiteness. And how Hispanic Americans are considered by others is often centered on skin color. Of course, this is Pew Research and the Washington Post, which is spinning this. But they ended up finding this profile. Yeah, it was on this weird, obscure Russian social media site.
By obscure Russian social media site, do you mean Truth Social? Because we all know there's Russian collusion is the only reason why President Trump beat Hillary, right? That's the lie that CIA and legacy media and social media told us for years.
Yeah, they'd like you to believe that, so then people will turn on their political opposition, but that's not what it was. But he did have skulls. He had a lot of Texas pride, apparently emulating the Zodiac Killer. They're also apparently radicalized by Tim Pool. That was also another one of the talking points that was put out there. Yellen shooter, he didn't have any friends or groups, but he used this profile like a personal diary because it had zero content moderation. But he was also at the mall a few weeks before. He was monitoring to see the peak visiting times. And I don't know, it's like turning into a game for some of these people to be another mass shooter and see how many kills they can rack up.
Did I ever tell you the plot line in Moon Saloon? I'm going to address the point in Moon Saloon.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'll keep it to myself until I finish writing it. But Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to make sense of the world and where this is coming from. At least one of the places it's coming from would be what I get into in the movie. I'll explain to you later offline. But yeah, we're getting close to time to putting that on paper. But it does seem so pointless, so senseless. It's like if these guys are playing video games where they're trying to turn everything into Vice City, Grand Theft Auto, or something, and just running around ripping people out of cars and shooting like at random. It's just like it feels like random chaos. It's like, but where is it coming from? Yeah, it is awful. You know, all of these stories, it all leads to, oh, we need to take guns away from the good people because a bad guy did a bad thing. That's never been a that's never made a lick of sense to me. Never.
Yeah. Well, speaking of not making any sense, you had the ladies on The View. I'm sure they would have loved to have said he's a white supremacist Trump supporter, but now they're just trying to spin it. They say we all have to remember, it's according to I think crazy Anna Navarro, who's not the brightest bulb either, said we all have to remember that the head of the Proud Boys, his name Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys is a white nationalist group. That's not true. It says, look, being Hispanic or being black does not, or being anything, does not make you immune from being racist, from being radicalized, or from being a white supremacist, from being evil, from being homicidal. And we are seeing it over and over again. There are people who they don't see themselves as what they are. Now, there might be some rare cases where maybe this person was, self-hating and would rather be a part of the white supremacist Nazi group. I think that is extraordinarily rare.
Well, Blake, how
yeah.
rare is it that somebody says, I don't want to be a part of the female group. I want to pretend to be a male now. Or a guy's like, hey, I don't like being a male. I want to pretend to be a lady now. So I mean, you can identify as black, right? You can identify as.
Yeah, I think that was something that was put out in one of these articles as well. There's just so many people that are just identifying as different things. It's all just kind of blurred together.
And it's a bit of a contagion. The more it's talked about, the more that really the mentally ill with problems, they're going to gravitate toward this. Elon Musk had a comment, and it was so poignant. I don't know if I can say it, if I can recite it exactly from memory, but it was like, well, why are so many people doing this? And his response was, when you're taught to hate yourself, you will strive to be someone else. So I mean, it's a lot of kids are unfortunately being brainwashed and manipulated and taught to hate themselves by abusive teachers, by radicals who are really, it's abuse. It should be a criminal act to abuse them mentally like that. But
right.
Yeah. You know what this reminds me of, Blake? This story that you're talking about. I don't know if you remember this from back in the day, but it definitely reminds me of this.
For the last 10 years, a man named Clayton Bigsby had been the leading voice of the white supremacist movement in America. Though not sold in any major bookstores, his books don't.
I don't want to.
Copyright strike? What?
No.
Oh, you got.
Yeah, I think they're going to drop some hard ends in there. It's.
They probably wouldn't be able. Yeah, they think they will.
I don't know, and I didn't preface it. Here, I'll
well, it's a great sketch, but we live in a snowflake culture now, and that might not be interpreted the same way as it was 15 years ago or when it came out. I think that was probably 15 years ago.
It's still classic. But, it's important because it shows these highlight the absurdities of these situations. Once again, it's not compassionate to play a role in somebody else's delusion. It's compassionate to help them. But yeah, I'm literally in a Facebook group right now going over the topic. It might be TNAM Music, private group. Join it if you like music. Talking about the N-word in music, and it's like, well, can we just retire this? Like what's the benefit here? And then it's like people posting videos of a white kid doing a karaoke, and he's saying the words that the rappers wrote. He's just performing the song. And then they're trying to string this little kid up because how dare he say that word? It's like, he said the word because you said the word, and like we sing songs, like, you idiots. If you don't want to hear the word, don't say it. So like this ongoing conversation over that word, and it's anyway. Doggone it! I wish I could have played a little bit more of that clip. It's hilarious. White power.
Right? No, we just get flagged and we get in trouble. So I'm sure,
Exactly.
but no, it's good stuff.
So that's anything else to button up on this topic?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on to the last two. We'll move it. Keep it moving. All right, Blake. Yes, nothing makes sense anymore. You're right. Do you agree or disagree that we should keep health emergency powers to vaccinate as many kids as possible? Agree or disagree that we should keep health emergency powers to vaccinate as many kids as possible?
I strongly disagree with that. That comes from Chelsea Clinton. Gosh, she's really getting pretty nasty. She's really following in the footsteps of her mother very closely. I thought there might be a little hope for that, but no, she is right in line. She is going full globalist, and that I'm sure the World Economic Forum agrees, but I do not. But yeah, it's an alarming video that came for the weekend. Let's see if I can get the share screen to work again. That would be fabulous. That would be the Big Catch-Up Initiative. Need to stop stripping away public health emergency powers so that they can vaccinate as many kids as possible. So if it was up to Chelsea, we would still be in this draconian, basically like CHICOM style, or like in Australia or even in Canada. And they tried to do here in America was just to restrict everyone's movement, force everybody to take experimental vaccinations. I mean, as many kids, that is just, it's sick. So they're trying to, dial back the COVID restrictions. Everything is fine again, but she looks like she wants to go back to that, or at least have the capacity to do that. Now, Rochelle Walensky, also of the CDC, is announcing her resignation, I believe, in next month sometime.
That is so huge. You got Walensky, you got Fauci. They're all trying to run now. Oh, Lord Almighty, please, if you exist, you have got to hunt these people down, charge them and arrest them for what they've done. Good Lord. These people cannot escape. If there is no punishment, it will happen again. Please. They cannot slither off into their little slimy cave again. They did so much damage to so many people.
Oh, yeah, but now they want to double down and go back to that. So she was in Marina del Rey, California, at a brainstorm health conference, warning about the rise in vaccine hesitancy and the growing rejection of vaccines is unfortunate, adding that she had tempered her words. So do you think that really, Chelsea, she really cares about healthy people and everyone's livelihood? I have a hard time believing that. Now she wants to see basically medical tyranny perhaps brought back. So that she actually thinks we are less prepared today than we were in January 2020 for another pandemic, even though we weren't ready for that. And then we had 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I think we did a pretty good job, actually, all things considered, in the event that this was as contagious and deadly as they maybe thought it could be. But it turned out that really wasn't the case. And now we're seeing a lot more adverse reactions to these vaccines, especially with these young kids getting myocarditis and things like that. But she says, no, we need to go back to that. And we need more government vaccine mandates for children. So pretty alarming stuff. What?
Yeah, you wonder, she's cashing her check. I don't know. Why is she so passionate about this?
She thinks it saves 2 to 3 million lives every year. But I don't know about that.
Some great statistics. Yeah. I I compared the vaccine schedule from like what it was in 1980 to what it is now. It is
I do think
just astonishing. And you look at all of the allergies people have, the gluten insensitivities, the not neurological disorders. So I can't think of what that is, but like attention deficit. You talk about all of these, some of these chronic conditions, the fibromyalgia, and I mean, like the list of things that people have today, autism, that really wasn't there decades ago. And you see a side-by-side comparison of how many things are being shot into people. You just got to wonder if people are paying attention, if people are really connecting dots. I don't know if any of this or some of this is contributing or not. But my Lord, the amount of things that they want to force into us for profit. They say it's for our own good. It's hard to trust that. Like, it's hard to trust it. So
yeah, I don't trust Chelsea or Walensky or Fauci. They've had their chance. Did not go well. It's done a lot of damage, and I don't think we should go back to that. But that's the way they wanted it. That was their big plan, is to have everybody locked down, like they did in parts of China or Australia and Canada. So fortunately,
and America,
right? Yeah, they made their push, man. Mandatory vaccines, all about it.
And some people still avoided it. Okay, 2 more topics we'll move through really fast and wrap today's show up. All right, Blake, do you agree or disagree that journalist Gonzalo Lira, did I roll the R enough? Journalist Gonzalo Lira deserves to be detained by Ukraine. Agree or disagree?
Disagree. Gonzalo has really emerged. I never heard of him until like a year ago. But I think he is one of my favorite journalists out there. He's been very critical of the Zelensky regime. He's he's and Chilean, but then he's been living in Ukraine for a long time, and he's out in Kharkov, and he's kind of giving people an interesting insider perspective of the war. But he is definitely more sympathetic towards the Putin and the Russian cause than he is towards Zelensky. And he's been abducted by the SBU or the Ukrainian forces. He has been warned. This was several months ago when he disappeared for a couple of weeks and people were freaking out, including me. And now he's been detained again, and he could be put in prison for a while, which I understand. Ukrainian, obviously, they don't want somebody who's sympathetic towards the Russians inside of Ukraine reporting on that, or being, pro-Russian propaganda, however they want to frame that as. But as a journalist, first and foremost, he should be allowed to express his viewpoint, whatever that may be. So this is just another case of a wrongful prosecution, and jailing of another journalist. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with him, but it looks like he could be out for a few years if they convict him. I don't know exactly. This is all breaking, but I will pull up this story and we can follow along and check out what's going on. Here he is, arrested in Ukraine for criticizing Zelensky, American blogger. More than 150,000 subscribers, but he's facing up to 8 years in prison. So the SBU arrested Gonzalo Lira. And let's see, we'll find something I haven't covered. And there's this creature, his nemesis from America here, Sarah. Been calling it out. They're trying to send a chill factor to people that are pro-Russian in this narrative.
And Ukraine has gone bonkers. They've eliminated all other political parties, right? Like they're as totalitarian as any place on earth right now, right?
Right. and we're spending billions of dollars supporting Ukraine in this
Why are we
proxy
supporting
war effort. And
jailing
so,
your political rivals? Like, kind of sounds like what they're trying to do to Trump here, what Bolsonaro's trying to do, or what Lula's trying to do to Bolsonaro down in Brazil. I mean, like, I thought we're against despots doing this. You're supposed to have a free and open conversation about.
we should be, and journalism, as they're saying, is not a crime. But here's another case where they're putting away opposition. And of course, there's been zero word, not a single word from the Biden regime about the Lira arrest, and I wouldn't hold your breath on that. So,
Seems like they're on the wrong side of history to me.
yeah, once again.
Yeah. Well, the last topic here, I don't know if you had any more points to make on this one, but this is another one about media right here. Would you agree or disagree that the White House should refuse press credentials for the New York Post? Once again, it's all about journal, all about telling the stories, right? So what should the White House agree or disagree that the White House should refuse press credentials for the New York Post?
Again, big disagree. This is a total disaster. Should not be happening, but they keep breaking the rules. So yeah, nobody wants to have the somebody challenging your viewpoints, but that's how journalism works in this country. And so now they're freaking out. They don't like. They're trying to reinvent the way they hand out press credentials now with the White House, so they can get people that aren't going to ask them tough questions. It appears. So the White House blocking the New York Post from attending Biden appearances. The request for a press credential was denied, despite the fact that there's plenty of empty seats in there, and also he doesn't really take a lot of questions. So they're blocking New York Post reporters. Of course, they've gone after Hunter Biden for the laptop and many other things. New York Post has a different perspective than that is not necessarily sympathetic like the New York Times would be in asking softball questions. The newspaper intimated that it was due to being at the forefront of reporting on the Hunter Biden laptop and the shady foreign money deals. I'm sure that played a big factor in that. So now they're just taking out their opposition. But, I remember when Trump was in there, they had, I remember a hostile Jim Acosta of CNN nearly every single press conference, and very rude about it as well. Not, I think Peter Ducey's pretty professional and polite.
He's very professional and polite. Like, that's how you're supposed to do it. That honestly, he should be given awards. I don't know how you could sit and tolerate that stuff. I mean, that's a saintly maneuver to have to listen to Corinne Jean-Pierre. Oh, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Being that polite and that professional. I mean, the man is a saint for doing that. But that's how you do it. That is exactly how you do it. He really is a standard bearer. Ask your questions. Be as pointed and sharp as you want, but do it the right way. Do it the right way. And there's a lot of areas where you could say Donald Trump is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Politically, he's had some hits, he's had some misses, some home runs, and some strikeouts, like everybody. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe Biden doesn't have any hits or home runs, but very few. Name one, Blake, if it just off the top of your head, just one. Just
say that one again.
For intellectual honesty, could you pick out one thing that the Biden administration has done correctly? Just one, so we can claim to be intellectually honest. Trying to give some credit to the other side. That's a great debate question. Now,
I wish I could, but yeah, KGP, Pete Buttigieg, Mayorkas.
Wow.
I remember that's an economic guy that was being laughed at. I think he's out now. I'm just trying to think if there's, and I'm trying to be honest here. I don't know if there's somebody out there who is.
Jekyll is hearing crickets in his head on that question. I'm trying to find something.
I'll be welcome. I'll be in. Oh yeah, that person's been pretty cool, but I really don't think there is. It's a great question. I don't know. It's just nothing but gaslighting and manipulating the information. And there really has been a lack of that, big time.
Any
The Democratic
good
Party has
policy,
lost.
Anything? I'm trying here. I really was. I mean,
There have been
there's
a
nothing
couple
more
of things, maybe even from like Elizabeth Warren or something, where you went, "Oh, okay, maybe that they're being." I don't know. It's really it's pretty sad. This administration is totally different,
It is.
and they don't want to
Absolutely.
answer the question. They don't like being
No.
held accountable.
Why would they, and how could they? They can't. They got nothing.
Right? I
They
wouldn't
got
blame them. I wouldn't want to be KJP and then have to answer questions and try to defend this shit show, clown show.
Yeah.
But
Well, there you have it. All right. Okay. Jekyll found one. His comic relief. There you go. All right. That's one thing he's done right. Well, okay. I mean, though. I know this is very backhanded complimenty, but could you imagine a better way to show a proper contrast between Donald Trump and this guy than just letting this guy be this guy? It's like literally the opposite on everything important. And you go, whew, boy, were we wrong to throw Trump in the trash. Boy, were we wrong. So maybe in that way, that's been a plus. But yeah, it's hard to even pick out a single thing. It's like, well, this trade deal was good, or well, that border thing was good, or well, I got nothing. I got nothing on him. But anyway, I digress. That'll be another one of our trick questions of the day. If you can think of anything the Biden administration has done good, just for intellectual honesty purposes, so we can try to, that debate question. Well, tell me something your opponent has done good, something you admire about your opponent. It's a great debate question. It kind of, if you can be honest about that wins people over to your side. It's an endearing quality where it's like, okay, at least they're not going to lie to me about everything all the time kind of moment. I'm trying to find it and I got nothing. So I think that's a good place to press pause today, Blake. You can follow Blake on Twitter. He's at TVSBLAKEWALLEY at TV's Blake Walley. And your website, say your website.
thenextlevelnews.com. The archive, and this show will be posted as well. It's highlights from previous shows, and yeah, the archive. So if you're interested in following more, thank you, Brian.
Heck yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Blake. We did a nice show today. Right minutes past 2 hours. 2 is usually our max, but time flew by, and you're not late for work. You're not late for where you're going, luckily. So
wow, that's a miracle. All right.
I know.
Racing out the door.
Yeah, so we'll see about Thursday. I'm not entirely certain about my availability. Maybe tomorrow could work better for me. You and I.
It looks like you're out of town there. A remote location somewhere.
I will never say. I can neither confirm nor deny. The rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. No, yeah. So my schedule will be off a little bit. So maybe tomorrow. Here, I don't know if that could work for you, but let's talk about that offline. Let me know what your availability is tomorrow. Shoot me a text if you would, Blake, and we'll continue that. Perhaps. Okay. Well, then,
we'll see if there's some good stories to cover too. So anyway.
Oh, always. There are no slow news days anymore. Tomorrow, not only my birthday, it's going to be Invasion Day.
Hooray. Oh yeah, you want to do a show on your birthday?
I don't know. I mean,
all right. Well, we'll figure it out. All right.
I don't even care about my birthday. I used to love it, and I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same enthusiasm like Christmas. I used to get so about presents, and now it's just like, we could wait another day. We could wait a week.
Yep, it's all the same to me. I think Christmas, my biggest joy is like maybe getting my cats something different, or getting my niece some toys, or
right.
some for her. That's the fun. It is cool how you've graduated from the selfish gimme. I want, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I have all these new things. That's like, no, I want to give things like that's the joy. And what we try to do here on this program is we try to give you the listener, the viewer, we try to give you perspective that's insightful, that's entertaining, that's accurate, and that's engaging. That we're able to take your comments and work them in and kind of participate in this together while we try to unpack the news of the day. So, all right, cool. Let's press
All right.
pause now. I appreciate all of you for listening.
Yes,
to today's episode.
Dr. Jekyll and Jessica and Shauna May, Frankie Brown.
Oh, you know what?
Everybody else I miss.
Well, what we may have missed.
Unholy Hoax. Yeah.
that's
Jocelyn. Prayers for Jocelyn, who had a family emergency.
That's the part. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Dr. Jekyll chiming in. The joy on my children's faces me joy. Exactly. We're supposed to pass it along, and that is the beauty of this world. Keep our light shining outward. So cool. I appreciate you all for listening. Subscribe to all the things, but the two mainly three. Truth Social, because we have no numbers over there. We got to get more than 2 followers. So come over to Truth Social. Rumble, subscribe to Rumble and watch some videos. Even just click play and let them play in the background so we can get those numbers up. Hey, that's not the worst. And then Spotify. Got to follow us on Spotify. We did have several different technical issues and difficulties, which have led to some of our shows delaying over the past. I think our Thursday show, I still have to split a segment out of it and put our music segment. We're going to do one where we debate the people that got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for our TNAM music segment. But yeah, we intend to get caught up on that soon. But yeah, follow us in all the places because, people get deplatformed all the time. That's why we're expanding out to new territories. So in addition to YouTube and Twitter, make sure you're following us on Rumble and on Spotify. So for Blake Walley, I'm Brian Engelman signing out. Peace and love to all of y'all. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Later.